For centuries, Robin Hood has been known as the man who stole from the rich and gave to the poor. A hero, a legend, a symbol of hope. But what happens when that legend gets old? What happens when the man behind the myth is no longer a fearless warrior, but a broken human being facing the final chapter of his life? Today, we are talking about The Death of Robin Hood, a movie that asks one powerful question. What does a hero become when there is nothing left to fight for? Welcome back to FilmScope US. Today, we are looking at one of the most interesting upcoming Hollywood films, The Death of Robin Hood. This is not another simple adventure story. This film takes a legendary character that audiences have known for generations and explores a much darker, more emotional side. Instead of focusing only on battles and heroic moments, the movie appears to explore themes like regret, sacrifice, aging, and the consequences of living a life built around fighting. And that is exactly what makes this version interesting. Because sometimes the most powerful stories are not about how heroes rise, they are about how heroes fall. Robin Hood has survived for hundreds of years because the idea behind the character is timeless. A person standing against injustice, someone fighting for ordinary people, someone refusing to accept a corrupt system. But every generation creates its own version of Robin Hood. Some versions focus on action, some focus on romance, some focus on rebellion. This movie appears to focus on something different, the human cost of becoming a legend. Most superhero and adventure stories show heroes at their strongest, but The Death of Robin Hood explores something rarely shown: what happens after the victories, after the battles, after the world stops needing the hero. That creates a more emotional and mature story, because being a symbol for others can become a heavy burden. The biggest question surrounding this movie is not, can Robin Hood win? The question is, can Robin Hood find peace? A character who spent his entire life fighting may struggle with the idea of stopping. Sometimes the hardest battle is not against an enemy, it is against yourself. From the title itself, the movie suggests this will not be a traditional heroic adventure. The focus appears to be more serious and reflective. Expect themes like mortality, legacy, sacrifice, loyalty, redemption. This makes the film feel closer to a character drama than a simple action movie. The challenge with making a Robin Hood movie today is audience familiarity. Everyone already knows the legend, so the filmmakers need to ask, why tell this story again? The answer seems to be exploring a side of Robin Hood that audiences have rarely seen, not the myth, the man. A great final chapter of a legendary character is not about showing more battles, it is about showing what those battles changed. A person can become a legend to the world while privately carrying pain nobody sees. That contrast is what can make this story emotionally powerful. For fans of historical dramas and character-driven stories, this movie has huge potential. The success will depend on emotional writing, believable characters, strong performances, meaningful storytelling. Because a story about the death of a legend requires more than action, it requires heart. Final thoughts. The Death of Robin Hood has the opportunity to present something different. Not a story about becoming a hero, but a story about what happens after heroism takes everything from you. And sometimes, the most emotional endings are not about winning, they are about acceptance. If you love historical dramas, darker character stories, legendary figures reimagined, emotional Hollywood films, this is definitely a movie to watch. The biggest question is not whether Robin Hood can defeat his enemies. The question is whether he can finally defeat his own past. What do you think? Should legendary characters always get a heroic ending, or should we see the painful human side behind the myth? Comment below. And for more Hollywood movie reviews, breakdowns, and cinematic analysis, subscribe to FilmScope US.